Everybody, Michael here from Get Fit Over 40, and I've got my Onewheel Plus. This is an older Onewheel that is a lot like the Pint in terms of range. So you're looking at maybe 8 to 10 kilometers. I think that's like 6 to 8 miles is what they claim. I can get 10 kilometers on this, but that's in perfect situations, riding on the road, not going too fast, not going too slow. Typically I get closer to 8 because I'm doing a little bit of, trails and this and that, and starting, stopping, going up hills, all that kind of stuff. So something called range anxiety quite often happens when you get out on one of these and you're not sure if you're going to make it home, which means you either got to call an Uber or you've got to, pick it up and carry it home at that point, hopefully not too far. So what do you do about that? Well, you can't technically charge them and ride them because of the way Onewheel has set most of these wheels up. So if you have, what they've done is they got a 3-pin system. It's an XLR system for charging. And 1 pin is how the board knows whether it's being charged or not. The other 2 pins are basically like positive and negative. And then 1 pin goes to the other 3rd pin on the XLR and runs a little bit of current through it just so that the board knows it's being charged. That way you can't ride it at the same time. Sort of a safety measure. So the way around that is to, what I did is I created an extension cable that just removes that pin in the configuration. So it's in there, but it's not receiving any power. So I'm just bypassing that pin that tells the board it's being charged. So what that allows me to do is charge the board while I'm riding. So I can essentially have a battery pack hooked up to a power converter that then sends that power to the board, and it'll ride that way. That's the way most people do it. So they get a battery pack with a charger for that battery pack, and then they hook it through some sort of transformer or converter box that gives it the right amperage and the right voltage that would be the same as if it was charging. And so you get the, essentially what you get is you get power going back into the wheel. So it sees it as, what's the name of it? I'm getting a brain fart here. Regen. So it sees it as a regen, not an actual charge, which is really cool. And regen happens when you go down hills and the motor is trying to stop the board. It's like becomes an alternator and it creates power. It's called regeneration. So what comes in here basically shows up as regen in the app, which is kind of neat. So what I've got here, I'm doing it a bit differently. I'm just taking advantage of my charger that I already have. So here's my charger cable coming out from my battery pack. Inside the battery pack, I'll show you that in a second, I actually have a power brick. So it's a power brick with 120 volt out, AC out, or sorry, DC out. And so that DC out then goes to my charger, the one that I use every day when I'm charging it. And then I go through this cable, which at this point I actually only, not running that 3rd pin because I don't need it. So this cable doesn't have the 3rd pin. This one does. But because I'm plugged into one that doesn't, now I have no 3rd pin. And then I can run that into my board right like that. Okay, I'll do it right now. And I've got it on a quick release setup. I've basically made it so that this is not locked. So I've put a little zap strap around there so that it's not locked in there so that it can pull out really easily in case I fall off the board. I don't want to get all wrapped up in, and I'll show you this I might as well show it to you now. Okay, got to put it in right. So I'll show you this now. Maybe I'll disconnect it. Okay, so let's just show you the board set up here. So that's what I got going on. So this just plugs into the board XLR using a right angle because it's just safer instead of sticking out real far. Some Velcro straps. Then I've got another right angle that goes up and it's just XLR. And I guess this would be male. I think that's the male one. And then I got this battery pack hooked into this guy, right, with a switch because it's nice to have a switch on it. Essentially, the switch just allows you to, turn the power off. For instance, if you're getting too much regen, let's say you went down a bunch of hills and you're getting close to the 100% battery capacity, then you want to turn off the regen coming from the battery pack that we have here. Let me just show you what's inside. Okay, so I've got essentially one of these power banks. You can get anything you want, but mine is a 250 watt out power bank. So you can see here, it's got the regular voltage out. And then underneath here at the bottom is just my standard power adapter. Okay, so I can turn this on And then I can, well, I won't be able to show you because I'm recording with the phone that actually has my app, but I can show you that this will be on. Turn it on. Turn on the DC. I'm only going to do this for a little bit. And we're gonna, this is on. And so it's on. And, well, let's just try this here. So everything's on. And now, if I want to go, you can see it balances. I'm in ride, you can hear it. You can't see it, but you can hear it, right? So it's all working. And I believe right now it is regening, but it wouldn't matter if I was or I wasn't. I'll switch it the other way just in case. I can't remember which way is regen. And here we go, we're still working. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off because I don't have any apps connected to it, so I can't actually see my energy, where I'm at with the battery, and I don't want to accidentally overcharge the battery at this point. That would be a mistake. When I'm running the board, I actually have my app on, and it actually sends the voltage and everything and speed to my watch, so I can actually monitor the voltage while I'm riding on my watch. And if I need to, I can turn off the regen or the charge and riding while I'm going. If it gets a little too high, let's say I'm stopped for a little while or I'm going down hills and things, then I can turn off the regen, okay? Or the charge and ride, so it doesn't act as like it's regenerating. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go out and go for a bit of a ride as soon as the weather improves a little bit, and I'll kind of give you my feedback how it's working. At this, like I have it, this battery pack is a 277 watt hour battery. I believe the Onewheel battery that it comes with in the Plus is just a 130 watt hour battery. So I'm essentially tripling my watt hours, and it's about 400 watt hours total. So it's more than a Plus, not as much as a GT, but somewhere in the middle. With if I have the internal standard battery in here, I am going to be upgrading this battery to, I believe, a 245 watt hour battery. So I'll actually be right around GT watt hour batteries when I use this combined charge and ride system with the built-in upgraded battery for the Onewheel Plus. All right, so let's get out and ride and see what happens. Okay, so been giving it the test here. Basically, normally I might get 8, 9, if I'm really lucky, 10 kilometers per charge. That's really stretching it out, but usually more like 8 when I'm in a variety of different conditions. And so I was able to get just over 10 kilometers, and I'm only at 60% battery left. So it's been regenning this whole time from the charge and ride system. And that's just a normal ride. You know, there was some fast sections where I have to get from my house to Murrayville, which is about 1.5 kilometers where I'm going, you know, pretty much top speed on this thing. It uses up more battery that way. Then when I get into Murrayville, I'm kind of stopping and starting and going through a few walkways and things like that. So you're kind of going, no real big hills, some slight hills. I'm trying to stay away from hills just to get an idea of what the system is charging like. So here I am. You can kind of see what's going on. Right, so there's the charge and ride system working with the cord and everything, and it works really good. You know, I probably can get close to, I would say, before I even need to stop, like let's say if I'm just charge and riding without stopping at all, other than some little, you know, going across crosswalks and things like that, then I should be able to get well over 20 kilometers before I even need to take any kind of a break to let the regen charging system catch up. But maybe 20, 25 kilometers of just normal riding. You know, and again, if you take some little breaks and you're regenning while you're taking those breaks, it's gonna charge the whole time, right? So you can probably get another 10% battery if you just take a 5-minute break. So yeah, or more. So it's, you know, it's gonna charge at the capacity of, I got some people here. It's all right. No worries, thank you. So it's going to charge at the capacity of the normal charger I'm using, which on the Onewheel Plus is a 3.5 amp charger. So that's going to, you know, most of the time you're going to be using about 5 to 6 amps when you're riding. So it's going to be less than this can charge. Hi. So you're basically, oh, she looks happy, didn't she? So you're basically, you know, not going to keep up with the riding, but it should be pretty close depending on what you're riding in. Lots of doggos and things here. We're going to just keep going. One concern I had was heat. So will that battery pack and the charger get hot? Well, I put my hand in there. It wasn't too bad. The battery pack is going to go around here. Scoot by this guy. Thanks a lot. The battery, the charging brick, so the thing that actually has a 120 volt out system with the actual batteries in it, that I'm using as my battery source, wasn't very hot at all. It's even got a fan, and I've got it situated in such a way that the fan is actually blowing against the charger. So hopefully that keeps it a little cooler. So far, so good. My back isn't caught on fire or anything, so I think we're doing good. Now, some people say that with these charge and ride systems that they feel more torque, like because you're getting the amperage from the battery and the amperage from the charge and ride. You know, it's adding another 3.5 amps to the system. Is it going to help? Maybe, especially when you get lower voltage. You know, sometimes you get some voltage drop, amp drop, all that kind of stuff. So this is essentially avoiding all of that. Amperage drop, I would say, for the most part. And I'm just going to take a quick look and see where we're at. We're at 58%. So I dropped from 60 to 58%. While I was doing that, yes, I'm definitely on the charge system. Charge and ride is still happening. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think this is a really cool setup. I think I'll be able to do easily 20 to 25 kilometers without stopping. You know, that's without really taking a break. And more than likely, when you're doing that kind of a ride, you're going to stop here and there, take a little break, you know, look at a scenic thing, maybe even stop for coffee. By that time, it's going to charge right to the top. So I'm pretty much going to go home. And so what I'll do when I get home, got to just do a little loop to loop. When I get home, I'm on my way home now, but I'm not going to record it all. It's pretty boring. But when I get home, I'm going to list how far I went, what the battery was at when I got there. So you can see like the battery, what the percentage was, how far I went, and then I'll kind of give an estimate on how much battery I used out of the battery pack. There's just basically 4 bars on it. So if it's at, say, 2 bars, I'll say it used half the battery. If it's at 3 bars, I'll say 3/4. So it's just a rough estimate, but that should give you an idea. Anyways, thanks for watching another GetFitOver40.com video, another doggo. Don't forget to subscribe. Check them out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.